We have been talking about decorating with a star tip, but before we even get started with this segment, we want to take a look at this beautiful cake. It is just, it's magnificent. And believe it or not, Nancy is going to decorate a cake just like that in the next few minutes, and it's that easy.
It is that easy. Now, we've used a buttercream icing, and we spatula iced the cake. You don't have to have it exactly smooth because we're going to kind of change it. One of the things that makes cakes look real elegant is using a decorating comb. And you really need a turntable with this. You need a thick amount of icing, because you're actually pulling some off. And you can
just slowly turn the table and hold it still
because I just think it gives you more of a deeper texture. You can comb straight. You can comb going up and down with a garland-like look.
And like a swag, kind of swag it from top to bottom.
Yeah, that looks really nice. There's also, if you want to hold up the other triangle, you can use that comb, you can use the triangle.
See this one?
Yeah, and we're going to cover most of this up.
They have different edges to them. We might mention that at least on this one, so you can get a different design.
Okay, now let's start with the top. And that's how easy combing is. You want to make sure that you comb when your icing is freshly iced, because if it begins to dry, it will be a little bit more difficult and you'll get more skipping.
And have plenty of icing.
Yes, have plenty of icing when you start at the right color.
Now, what tip are you using here? What size?
I'm using a 1M, and so it's just a big star, and I'm doing big rosettes. So it's a very consistent
Now, could you do the same design with a different tip, or this one is the best one for
I like this one because it's wide and open. A 4B, which is a tighter, large star tip, works. I like this one because it's big, so you get a wider coverage.
And we might mention on the bag here, you have a coupler. And this is here so you can change the tip. If you're still wanting to use the pink icing and you do need to change, those just unscrew. The new tip slips on, and it's that easy.
That's correct. Now, there's a large coupler and there's a small coupler. We're obviously using a large one because we've got a large tip.
And these are the featherweight bags that you can throw in the dishwasher or just with some warm water.
Yeah, rinse them out. If you're going to put them in the dishwasher, I turn them inside out because they wash better that way. Now, you could refill your bag if you wanted, or I have another handy dandy bag here.
And again, make sure you start with plenty of icing that is the same color so you don't have to duplicate the colors. And now you're adding just a little more layer to it, right?
It gives it some height. You could stop there, but I think it just looks nice with an additional amount of height.
That's a lot of icing, isn't it?
Sounds like your type of cake,
huh? Heaven. You know what? I could see this cake for Sweet 16. Wouldn't this be a great cake for a girl's Sweet 16 birthday party, or of course for a Mother's Day party, anything like that?
That's probably enough on top. And now I'm just going to do a star
at the base.
At the base, and that's just holding it basically straight up and down and squeezing.
Just pulling out.
So I'm using the same star, and you can see that just kind of finishes off the edge. So if you had, you know, part of your icing didn't go all the way down when you were combing it, or you picked it up, it's not a problem.
Oh, I'm impressed that you can work this quickly.
You can see it's real simple. It's a star tip. So normally you hold a star tip straight up and down and squeeze. I'm just holding it at an angle because, you know, I'm doing it at the bottom border. And you can see how impactful this cake gets to be as you go along.
And if you make a mistake, you can use your spatula, lift it off, or use a toothpick and start over, right?
Now I'm going to do some rosettes. I'm not going to do them quite as solid.
This is buttercream, a different size star, right?
Yeah, this is a smaller star. I like to work with an 18. Some people like to work with a 16.
And how many people would this cake feed?
Probably a good 16.
16 people, and would you use like a lemon cake, orange cake, something light?
Ice cream.
Since you've got all this icing, something like, ice cream.
Lemon. I think, did you say lemon?
Lemon.
You could do orange, you could do a strawberry cake, and you don't have to bake your cake from scratch. You can if you want to, but you could actually use a mix.
Okay, we might mention for recipes and the how-to, the instructions for this cake and a number of other recipes, you can look at the website. Also, there's the show listing. There are recipes. Oh, I get to sprinkle. I have a job.
She has
here
her
to
job.
do.
I'm going to go ahead and stick the candles on here.
Okay, now these are the sprinkles, and You could use these are jimmies, right?
Yeah, these are
This is what your
jimmies. They're multicolored jimmies. I mean, you could use some pink sugars if you wanted to. I mean, there's just a variety
and you
that you
could
could
use the
do.
non-parcels, but
Non-Perels.
Non-Perels, yes, and they roll. Now, do you put them around the base? You put them around
You
the
can.
bottom
You don't
too?
have to. I would probably not put them around the base. But, you know, since you started, you go ahead. Why don't you move over there?
Okay, and how about the cupcakes?
Now, let's say you were having a whole big crowd and you didn't think this cake was going to be enough. You could
Right.
do the same rosettes like I did on the side of the cake.
Right.
And you could actually just make rosettes on your cupcakes so it kind of looks like flowers. You know, you could just do 3 of them if you wanted. You could do them all the way around. I'm going to quickly do them more. I'm kind
And
of
this is
making
buttercream. These are the disposable bags that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
And what size tip is this? I'm
probably an
sorry.
18. I love working with an 18.
But it's still the star tip that you're using.
And there's 2 different looks. My rosettes aren't perfect, so don't look too closely. But see, there's 2 different ways you could do it. I mean, and this kind of ties in with the rosettes there. This actually makes it look a little bit more, you know, matching the cake.
And now, will your icing set up a little more intense?
Yes.
When it dries, it will be a bit brighter. Because I think that the yellow on the initial cake is just gorgeous. There's something about that pastel look that is just, it's light and airy and inviting. It says, eat me right now with a big glass of milk, you know, it really does. Well, this is impressive that you can do that quickly, and it truly is that simple, because it does look a bit more complicated than that, but you whipped it right
No.
out there.
It's very simple.